quick as a snake, strong as a bull, and not to mention blind as a bat. This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 73, Spotlight on Blind Fury.
Superman.
Hello and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 73.
Number 73.
Spotlight on Blind Fury. Yep, you heard that right. Blind Fury.
We didn't even rehearse that.
So, yep. Spotlight on Blind Fury. We're going to be talking about that this evening.
Are we going to be talking about Blind Fury?
We're going to be talking about Blind Fury.
Blind Fury.
Fury that is blind.
La Fury avec le blindé.
But before we do that, let's do the general chit-chat nonsense that seems to go down so well with our listeners.
People like it. It shows we're just like them. Because we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so where do we start? Let's start with Mr. P. How was your week been?
Have you missed a P?
Apparently so. My week's been fine. It's been okay. Had poker night on Friday. Chilled out on Saturday. We've been making love by Sunday. No, we actually went to the arcade on Sunday. So proper.
Did you make a wish?
No, they didn't have that machine. No, so woke up early, got everyone in the spirit for going out with Daddy by playing the Transformers the movie theme tune over Alexa.
Cool.
I think it got me perked up more than anything else. And yeah, we went to an arcade. It's one of those ones where you like book for the hour and you just play any games you
cool.
want over in town. So yeah, it was cool.
I keep looking at that.
They have golden axe.
Huh?
They got golden axe.
No.
Oh.
No, so most of the games are from the early 2000s onwards. There was the Star Wars trilogy game, and I forgot just how bad the controls were, which is a bit of a shame. But no, the kids enjoyed it.
There's a retro one down in Newquay, but nothing. They don't have any games after 2000.
Oh right, yeah.
That's cool. That's a good one to go to if you're ever in Newquay. Can't remember what it's called. Not that we're being sponsored or
I was going to say, yeah.
If you're ever down that
Doing
way.
a poor job if we are.
Yeah.
Flynn's Arcade in Newquay.
Yeah, so that's basically me done and work. Woo.
Cool. Mr.
Yes.
B?
I too engaged in a game of poker to test my mathematical skills on Friday. And then Saturday, I went out for a family meal. And then on Sunday, recovered from said meal and poker game, and did some marking ready for school.
Hey.
Yeah.
And Damien?
Very similar. I went to a poker game on Friday.
Cool. We should have gone to the same one.
Yeah, that would have been cool,
been
wouldn't it?
good.
Yeah. Didn't get home till 3 o'clock in the morning. Then couldn't sleep. I think I managed to get to sleep about 5 o'clock.
Did you listen to a podcast?
Yeah, I probably should have done that. Might have listened to this podcast. It might have helped. And then Emily came and woke me up at 6. So
Yeah.
I've been
That's
feeling
cute.
that ever since. So not good. Yeah, that's about it. It's not been an exciting week.
Well, it was for me. It was
Yeah,
all right. I enjoyed poker.
I had a ruddy nice time.
I was a designated driver,
That was your choice.
so I didn't
That was.
enjoy it as much as I could have
I
done.
know, but that was like all your choice.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm
Well,
just-
you were kind of grumbling.
Well, you had too much of a good time the week before. With your wig of wonder.
Wig of wisdom.
Wig of wisdom.
Yeah,
Wig of wisdom.
and all that. But yeah, it was a good time. We are rock and roll, honestly. Sometimes we just...
How we
like,
started all of that with poker. You know, lads playing poker. That's what people, 10 years younger than us and 20 years younger than us get up to.
if you say so.
Probably not with the.
I wasn't here on Saturday night, drinking and playing cards again. So
On your own.
yeah,
Practicing.
Patience.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a dark spiral downwards now.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just missed
Me-
the game.
Me,
Need to play.
me, Jack Daniels, Ron McCarty.
Sounds like a party.
The whole gang. But did you manage to watch anything during this time, though?
No,
All right. That's why he doesn't mind the chit chat this week.
just keep it going.
Normally he just winds it up.
There was one the lack of hand signals.
Actually, no, I did. I have
Oh,
watched
oh,
one
oh,
thing
oh.
on Netflix,
Flashbacks.
and it's called Devil in Ohio.
Oh, I haven't seen that
This is a
yet.
series, and I'll give you the Wikipedia first opening sentence.
The
Dun, dun,
gist.
dun.
An American suspense thriller created by Daria Politin, based on Politin's book of the same name, about a young girl who seems to have escaped from a devil-worshipping cult.
Yeah.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
Well, sounds interesting.
But it isn't, I guess.
I'm 5 episodes in,
Oh, you
And
made
it's
it to
yeah.
episode 5.
but it's just family drama.
Oh, okay.
It's like she's been found dead. No, not dead. Sorry, she's been found
Spoilers.
wounded in this
Yeah,
cornfield.
that would be cool.
And let's say at the top of this, because we'll probably come on to this later in this blind, nothing good ever happens in a cornfield. So why do people go in them? But anyway, she's been found in a cornfield with a pentagram etched on her back.
Yeah.
And then the child psychologist, they can't find a foster home for her, so she takes her home herself, and she's already got 3 kids at home. So it's more about,
Her getting on with the other kids.
yeah, than it is about any of the other stuff.
So you
Like,
haven't-
for about 5 minutes of every episode, there's a weird bit where she's like looking in the mirror and talking to herself, or something quite weird happens somewhere else.
Sounds
But
like
the
a
rest
long,
of it,
sounds like a long build up for if they're trying to get round to
yeah,
her
but
being
it's only
possessed.
8 episodes long. So
So you haven't carried on watching that thing with Rupert Grint on.
I got to the end of season 1,
Yeah.
having a bit of a break.
Okay.
Because it's good, but they're slow episodes, aren't they? It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, as I said, everything for me. Yeah, had a
I
bit
like
of,
it,
Bit,
don't get me
bit of
wrong.
mystery, bit of intent.
Yeah,
you know,
but kind of watching
potential-
that every night.
and eating and drinking. The guy's
Yeah.
a chef, so I've got my cookery show
Yeah.
fix. I just love watching how much alcohol they consume and continue to just function like every day. Rupert Grint's just knocking back those whiskies, and he's a great actor to be able to do that and remember his lines. Cool. So it's you done.
Pretty much, yeah.
Summersby.
I have mainly been watching because it's been very busy, so I've just been having to sort of pick my moments at this point. So I've mainly been watching the new, was it Dharma, the Monster, or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix, starring Evan Peters, who is amazing in the role, but then he's done all this in American Horror Story already. He's played every cult leader and serial killer going in various seasons of American Horror Story. I mean, he's been... what's his name? David Koresh. He's been... I can't think of anyone now. I think he's the clown. Oh, no, but if you go back and have a look, he's played most of them in this. So this is one of the few he hasn't played. And it's done by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan, who I think were pretty much the American Horror Story people anyway.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a more serious documentary style thing of what they do in American Horror Story. So I can kind of... It's done really well, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's nothing original that they haven't done before, apart from the fact this is apparently totally based on truth, although I've already spotted a few things that aren't quite right, or, I'm all for taking a bit of dramatic license to make it more entertaining as a program, but when it's something like this and the emphasis is supposed to be on the factual and how it's telling the story of the victims more and all that, they've changed a little bit around here and there, and also didn't get various people's permissions for things I've since found out.
Oh.
Because like at the end of, without giving too much away, has anyone watched it yet?
No.
No.
It is to say it's really done, but you watch a couple, you'll leave it for a bit, you go back, watch a couple more, leave it for a bit, because obviously this stuff happened, and it's not like, and it is a good insight into him and all that stuff. I was slightly put off that his dad is the dad from Step Brothers because that just makes him look a bad parent in different films now, doesn't it? And there's Molly Ringwald pops up as well, which is always a slightly different role for Molly Ringwald than I'm used to. I'll be honest, but she's done all right. And but there's like a bit at the end of the second episode where a situation occurs. And the police deal with... I mean, the police balls this whole thing out anyway from start to finish. That's a known fact of anyone who's even picked up a leaflet on Jeffrey Dahmer. The police mishandled this.
One of them came through the door the other day.
Yeah. Or a flyer or a book or
I must
whatever.
have thrown it away with the other lot.
Yeah, where I live, we get them. But you know what I mean? So anyone with the slightest interest who's looked this up, no, the police balls up. And they end up playing like the police phone call that the women made afterwards, trying to chase up what happened and saying, but I don't think around the police were like insisting they done right. They played the real phone call, but they never went back and asked the original woman who did it. I know she doesn't own the phone call or anything like that, but if you're depicted in a program and you're going to play a real voice on an episode, you'd think maybe courtesy would just be to say, or even, hey, we're going to be using your phone call in this episode just to let you know if it's upsetting not to watch it, or because she lived through that. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's little things like that, but it is. But as a show, he's going to win awards out of this because he is really good. And
as we found out last week, anyone can win an award.
Ooh,
I'm only joking.
I'm just blushing.
You've got your certificate. You've got your awards.
Yeah, done mine. And yeah, I think he's going to win out of this, and this could open bigger doors for him for more serious roles because he seems to be trapped in American Horror Story most of the time at the moment, sort of redoing the next story. It does it well, but we've seen it now. So, Evan Peters, this is your chance to sort of step up a bit more now. You're doing really well from this. Let's see what happens next.
What a great pep talk that was.
And
Let's hope he's listening.
I'm sure he is. I mean, he's putting down whichever supermodel he's dating at the moment. He's going, wait a minute, this has just changed my life. Get off me, Emma Roberts, whatever her name is. Was it Emma Roberts?
I've got no idea you're even talking about, so it's no good looking at me.
Julia Roberts' niece, who's an actress, is Emma, isn't it? She's in American Horror Story as well.
No idea. I thought you were talking about like supermodel. I was like, I just still don't know.
You never know when you're... But yeah, he's done really well. It's disturbing to watch. Watch it in steps. This isn't
5, 6, 7, 8.
Not them. That'll make it more disturbing.
Sit there with H.
Yeah.
Sit down and watch it.
Like Gogglebox.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to watch it with H? He'd be hiding behind you, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Too scared to watch it.
Of course he would. No. No.
5, 6.
But no.
Okay. Yep,
don't binge it because it will disturb you.
Okay.
Take
cool.
it in small chunks.
Mr. P.
In steps. So Rings of Power. Still watching that. It's okay. It's an expensive TV series that looks really nice. And it's quite slow.
How do we know who the mysterious stranger is yet?
I've deliberately not looked online because
from where you've got to.
No. So he can do sorcery. We found out. I don't think it can be Gandalf because apparently it's before his time, unless they
Perhaps he can time travel.
Well, he can come back from the dead, so who knows?
There you go.
But I think
he's a doctor.
Yeah. So I haven't read Silmarillion or whatever, and I haven't looked online because I don't want it to ruin it.
Apparently, none of this is in any of the books.
Yeah, but it can't be. I don't think it can be Gandalf because, as I said, he ain't come around yet. But it's definitely a wizardary of some description.
I've heard it might be someone who's a bit of a baddie in it.
Yeah, but it's not Sauron, or is it?
Ooh, see.
No.
I'm only going by what people.
Anyway,
You're
it doesn't
listening to the Lord of the Rings podcast, episode 4777.
He waffled on for ages about what I didn't. I was fine until he interrupted. Yeah, so no, we don't know who
I'm sorry
he
I
is.
talked about the #1 trending show in the whole world.
Yeah, but it's all right.
So you should be, because other people talk about that. We don't need to.
Yeah.
It's still okay.
That's our turf, though.
Looks expensive. It is expensive. And, I don't have an issue with some of the acting that some people seem to. In other news, I decided after Saturday, we were going to rent a movie. Looked around, actually, there isn't much available apart from the stuff that.
I just got a vision of you aimlessly wandering around Blockbuster.
in Portsmouth.
There's only one left now, isn't there? Out in the States somewhere.
It's in
Yeah, so
Alaska.
we decided to. That is part of the States.
I know. I was just saying where it was. You said somewhere. I went. It's in Alaska.
I said somewhere in the States somewhere.
Yeah, no,
And
no.
he just
Clarified.
kind of clarified it a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't
It's
need
like-
you
it would be
to.
the same as saying in Florida or,
Yeah.
just...
What are you got against Alaska?
Nothing. Anyway,
Sorry to our Alaska
So,
listeners. There.
we spent £15, £16 or whatever it is for a premium rental of Nope.
Nope.
Anyone seen this?
This is the new. This is the dude.
This
on
is the
Get Out,
alien-y
isn't it?
thing, isn't
This is the
it?
guy that
Alien
done the-
Ranch thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. So
Is
this
this the
stars
guy that done the Get Out and all that stuff?
this
Get Out,
stars
isn't it?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, I like him.
Hope I said that right.
Two
Um,
Leaf.
Yeah, so he was in Get Out, Black Panther, all that kind of stuff.
Psychoville.
Yeah, with his sister in the film, Kiki Palmer, so it's set in a horse ranch, and they train horses to star in films. And as Damien mentioned, there may be some UFO type shenanigans
Do they teach
going
him to
on.
talk?
Who?
The
Mr.
people in the
Ed.
thing? Yeah, because I've seen films where horses talk. Is that where they learn it?
Sorry, what? What you even talk? Why? See, this is why it takes so long for me to do it. You have a go at me for taking ages to talk about a film. It's because he chirps in with shit like that.
You said they train horses for films, and I said, do they learn to talk? Because I've seen films where horses talk.
No, you haven't. Not real horses, Summers. Jesus, see? He's carrying on. Now that's another minute just wasted talking about it again.
Gee, Wilbur.
God, no. So they teach him how to appear in films, how to be ridden, how to talk and stuff.
How to ask for their best side, that kind of thing.
And
Bored
yeah,
now. That sounds shit.
all of a sudden, his dad is riding a horse, and he gets killed by loads of shrapnel and stuff falling from the sky.
I think the reason it takes so long is because you give us the plot.
No, but I'm just going to sum
We
it up
don't
now.
need the
See,
plot.
I know you're interrupting.
Well, I've seen the trailer.
He gave a plot.
I asked a
All right,
serious
anyway, yeah, so
question
there might be
about
some
the plot.
UFOs, there might not be. So
Okay,
watch it and find out.
No spoilers.
I just want to know if you think it's any good or not. That's
Did
the
you
point.
like it? Is it worth a watch?
No.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Does that mean it is?
No, it means don't pay £15 to rent it. Wait until it's free and then don't bother either. You two won't probably like it.
I liked his other films. I liked Get Out and the other one.
Yeah, but
That one.
this has a twist. This has a twist, but it's not detrimental to the film. Doesn't do anything great to the film either. And it goes off on weird tangents about some of the other stars' past lives that actually don't seem to
don't need
show
to
any
know.
relevance.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's padded out. It's got a twist, but nothing miraculous. Don't spend any money on it.
And the horses don't talk.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, you said they didn't.
No, they don't.
Oh, you bastard.
And there's
That'd
monkeys.
be cool.
In it
The
as well.
aliens came down to give the horses the power of speech.
The aliens might come down to do other things to the horses, Damien.
Oh, that kind of film, is it?
Then they really talk.
I'm down. I'm ordering it now.
Released in 1989, Blind Fury is virtually a straight remake of Satoshi Challenge, the 17th film in the Japanese Satoshi film series.
That's enough a sequel, isn't it? There's more after that. Right?
Yeah, plenty more after that.
Sorry.
Starring Rutger Hauer, Terence O'Quinn, and Meg Foster, it met with a modest reception at the box office, but gained a loyal fan base upon its VHS release and subsequent syndication across multiple TV networks.
Thanks to the UK and Europe,
Yeah,
we saved that film's
yeah.
ass.
Well, that's because, well, yeah, we might come on to this,
Yeah.
but that's because no one had any idea who Rutger Hauer was, apart from over here. And I think this was the Guinness period, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was the high Guinness times. Yeah. Basically, in America at that point, he'd been the guy in Blade Runner
Yeah,
and many years before.
yeah. Maybe the odd sci-fi
Yeah.
pop up.
Salute to the juggers.
But anyway, so that's Blind Fury in a nutshell. Good night.
Yeah.
We out.
That's cult faction.
And how, just before, no, we'll get into that. But
Okay.
how did Meg Foster get third billing?
That's just how I wrote it.
No, but even on the thing, she's third billing.
Oh,
I
is
know,
she?
'cause I guess because she's the woman in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, we've got to have a woman at the top. What, 6 minutes of screen time?
Tops.
If that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right, Brett. What you got against women?
I'm just like, it's sexist.
it is sexist.
Positively sexist, though.
Is it?
How can there be positive sexism?
But isn't that the thing where you positively discriminate?
Yeah,
Make sure that the women are on up top.
No, it is. To be fair, like, she looked hammered, so maybe she was supposed to be in it longer. Like, we're just going to kill her off.
Yeah, she's drinking too much. Let's get rid of her. So, as usual, let's...
Wow. You sounded really upbeat. Yeah, so as usual, let's talk about this film show. It's got,
Well, you picked this.
I know I did. I know.
Right, so let's go through. Why? Why did you pick it?
Well, who else is in it first?
Oh, we're not going to go through the whole sheet.
No, we're not going to go through the whole cast. The only person I haven't mentioned is Brandon Call, who played Billy. He didn't get a billing at all, the poor little sod.
Yeah, I think he ended up in the season 1 of Baywatch.
He did end up in season 1 of Baywatch, you're right.
I knew I recognised him. that was when Baywatch, just for the people who are not listening, series 1 of
People
Baywatch.
that are not listening.
Wow. Narrow it down a bit, Brett. That's cult faction.
No, my brain's messed up. For the people who might not be familiar with Baywatch, season 1 was actually a bit more of a drama series, and it kind of started tanking out at the end of the ratings.
Yeah.
And Hasselhoff bought it, and then it became the boob fest that most people know and love these days. So he was actually in it when people needed to act still.
Yeah,
He was in the good Baywatch.
you're right. He was.
Not
And whilst we're on the
smutty
subject,
filth.
he then went on into the sitcom Step by Step, which I'd never seen, but...
That had the girl from My Two Dads in it, I think.
Did it? Okay, I can't get New Kids out of my block. New Kids.
I think it's
What are they
before
called?
them. New Kids
New
on
Kids
the
on
Block.
New Kids on the Block. They weren't before then. Oh, they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not before the sitcom.
Yeah. That's
And then bizarrely, he was shot in both arms in 1996
Really? I did
Yeah.
not know that. What, like, is he...
in a road rage
got
incident.
No arms?
No,
He made a full
recovery.
Oh.
But he, yeah.
I looked at him and I just got flashbacks to Benji Jackson, the Alien Prince.
Pretty...
It's that kind of hairstyle and that kind of era, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, loved it.
Can I make a couple of notes on the cast?
Go on.
You also had Randall Tex Cobb as Slag, the big cigar smoking henchman, or
Yeah.
main henchman, lead henchman,
Lead headman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who was
Henchman
well,
man.
but he was actually at one point a world heavyweight boxing championship contender. He fought, I think he fought Leon Spinks
I wouldn't
and a
mess with
few
him.
other guys. So in
Yeah,
his
but he fought Leon Spinks when he was on his way out.
yeah, but he still got
I
a
still
shot.
wouldn't-
He-
I
Yeah,
still
no, I
wouldn't
mean,
fought.
admittedly, I wouldn't go up against Tyson,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying it
Yeah.
wasn't.
He got
It's
a
not the glamour tie that it
yeah.
sounds. is what
Yeah,
I'm
but
getting at.
he got some shots out world heavyweight champions when they had
Yeah, yeah.
belts as well. That's the only one I can remember now. But Leon Spinks was one of them. But he fought Leon Spinks. Yeah, we had Meg
And bizarrely, he was
Foster.
also a kickboxer, and he doesn't look to me like he's built to be a kickboxer.
But the early... I'm going to probably get slagged off for this, but the early days of kickboxing, especially in the western side of the world, the kicking wasn't that much of it.
Right, okay.
I mean, if you go back and watch some of those, even like Kickboxer, Jean-Claude Van Damme, there's some kicking, but there's not the kicking we would see nowadays, or even the Van Damme stuff that you see nowadays. A lot of it was kind of... I still wouldn't mess with him. Don't get me wrong,
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess with him, but I'm just saying
But it
he hasn't got
hadn't-
the
but
classic kickboxer
But
frame.
the level of technique hadn't developed to the way it is now. Put that bit in instead.
No, I'm leaving the whole thing in.
Yeah. And then we had also...
Does that mean he could have gone up against like John Cusack and stuff?
Yeah,
John Cusack probably actually better at the kicking side.
That's what I mean.
But
That's the
but
frame.
That one punch would have just knocked his head off.
Yeah.
Though. Also, no, on the
That's
other side of
catching.
that, you had Tiger Chung Lee as one of the bodyguards in the casino, the two dudes in the white suits,
Yep.
and he had the Asian guy with the big sort of goatee beard who's been a henchman in every former wrestler, he's been a henchman. I think he's been killed by nearly everyone in every popular TV show or franchise at some point. And the big one, he was only in it for a little bit, and I'm going to say it totally wrong, but they had Shō Kosugi as the assassin guy at the end who came in.
He even got a special mention.
Yeah, but he was the guy that done all the ninja films in the 80s. So like Ninja, Ninja 2, Ninja 3, he was like the guy that brought ninja cinema to the West. So I think there was a bit of little stunt casting there of a kind of, hey look, it's that ninja guy. And he was much so that he wasn't actually defeated in combat. It was defeated by brains. So just to kind of, he didn't beat me in a fight. He beat me because he'd done that, you know, without spoiling it.
Yeah. No spoilers yet.
No. But yeah, they were my notes. And, sorry. The dude, Lyle Pike, Nick Cassavetes, I think that's how you say it, went on to like direct like Alpha Dog and loads of really cool films. And he was like the dopey cowboy brothers in this, and it was just like, yeah, he was cool. But yeah, that was the main ones. But there are other people that appear in films of this genre that you'll just recognise. But they were the main ones of my casting notes.
Cool. So I take it we've all seen this film before?
Yeah.
Years
ago. For me,
Probably
it was a Sky
video.
Movies staple.
Yep.
That was my first experience of it.
I think I actually got this out on video.
I probably would have.
Yeah, I remember getting out and being excited, and you just had all this action, and it was amazing. And suddenly, I wanted to be blinded in Vietnam and trained by a bunch of villagers over a period of 20 years, and
not look any older.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the plot. We haven't talked about the plot yet.
I know, but that was the thing. I might that thing of maybe you can learn skills if you get trapped in a jungle and taken away somewhere, because there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Well, should we get onto the plot then, shall we? I just bashed myself in the face with a microphone.
It's because you didn't have ninja training.
No, I didn't. If I was quick as a cat, I would have caught it, but I didn't. My eyes were open.
I'm going to chuck a watermelon at you in a minute.
Okay, so while serving in Vietnam, American soldier Nick Parker was blinded by a mortar explosion. Rescued by local villagers, he recovered his health and, though he remains blind, was trained to master his other senses and be an expert swordsman. 20 years later, having returned to the United States, he visits an old army buddy, Frank Devereaux, only to find that Devereaux is missing.
Yeah. So a couple of things. First of all, we find out that they couldn't do wigs and beards in those days.
No.
From a makeup perspective. It's like I was looking at him going, what the is going on there?
I thought they might have been filming Goonies 2 next door and just borrowed it off the old Chinese man.
And also,
K. Luke, I believe.
I mean, with the montage of him being trained, literally, they just start throwing melons at him. It's like, you probably can't understand a word you're saying, and you're just throwing melons.
Throwing shit at him.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Blind melon. Do you reckon that's how they got the name?
If only we could ring Shannon and ask him, but alas.
Wow.
It
My
felt
mind's
like,
blown.
It felt like they were just laughing at the blind white guy for a lot of it.
Well, they were. They were racist, that village.
Yeah.
And can I just give Rutger Hauer how he never got an Oscar for being able to smell something whilst blind? It's like, it was like the biggest overacting kind of. Oh, it was just terrible. And it carried on through it as well. It was like, so can you do anything else? Or have you just got a really good sense of smell?
So obviously we start off with him being blown up in Vietnam, but then, quite quickly we get the humour. We kind of get to know what film this is going to be. This isn't like a deep, meaningful...
No.
And did anyone else see Terry O'Quinn when he got blown up? He wasn't there, was he? The character, sorry, Frank Devereaux.
No, he was, because they gave him a wig.
Yeah, but he had about like 5 seconds, like, look out.
Yeah.
That was yeah. But it wasn't like because they made such a big deal of it at the end, like, when we get to that. But you didn't see him enough at the beginning.
No, but I think that's the whole point, that you get to learn what actually happened later on in the film. This is just showing you that...
Yeah, but you didn't see him enough to realise that was him who was there to begin with.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, for it to be a reconciliation at the end and whatever else happens, we'll get to, you didn't really see him enough.
But again, we start getting the humour. Yes, they start laughing at him.
I don't think that was intentional.
Well, no, but then when he gets back to the States and he's walking along, minding his own business with his little cane with the sword in, making sure it doesn't stand in dog shit.
Yeah.
But he got through
Pokes the crocodile and says, nice doggy, as he walks over it. It's like, yeah, so this isn't a serious film. It's not like Rambo where it's at the start and, he's tortured through Vietnam and he goes out kicking, 7 bells of crap out of every cop that comes near him and turns him away just for having long hair. Oh, no.
No.
This is a comedy, an action comedy.
Yeah, but none of the comedy came from any of these people so far.
No. I like that. I think it's quite handy that the Devereaux postbox seems to be written in raised letters so that he knows he's got to the right house. Because I don't know. I mean, I've bought those things before, like the little house number things, and they're all the same size. They're not raised.
But how would he know
They're
that
just
it was
printed on.
How would he actually know that was the right one anyway? He needed someone to say what street he's on.
Yeah.
And how to
But
get
somewhere he's never been before 20 years later.
Yeah.
He's got...
Yeah.
He could smell it.
he could still smell.
Actually, yeah.
He could
Still
overact.
smell.
He could overactingly smell it.
Okay, so let's carry on. So Parker meet Frank's son Billy and his mother Lynn.
Oh, sorry, just before we do that, are we going to talk about the bar scene, or is that after? No, it's before this, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
we
just
can
no
talk
one
about-
was talking about it, so I carried on.
No, I was just going to mention it. That was all. Because
Yeah.
that was it was the setup scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is
the
telling you
stranger walks
what that
into the
montage was
bar,
really all about.
Yeah,
And we're
he's
getting more
blind.
comedy.
Yeah, we get a bit more comedy. They trick him by giving him the hot taco sauce stuff.
But he's been living out in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
and that's not even hot enough.
Yeah.
Then he makes a joke about the bloke, and just as the guy decides he's going to fight him, he decides not to, but decides to go and like assault a woman instead and steal a person. I guess then they all stood round there, which I'm guessing is kind of, it got a bit rapey.
Yeah.
And then he catches her bag and sort of, you don't really see what he does to them, but you assume it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you
it's
just get that
kinda-
nice line. He's like, ask for the purse. And he goes,
Or to go with your dress,
Yeah.
on it, yeah. And then he kicks out. So it's established that our friend Nick Parker,
His
whilst
training is
blind,
complete.
His training is complete, yeah, and he's not to be effed with.
Yeah.
and he's a good guy.
and
He's
more
he's a
importantly, he's a
good-
good guy.
yeah. You need to establish that early on. With
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
blind man with a sword, you need to establish very early in the film that he's not
Especially
some
a
sort of
Vietnam
psycho.
veteran in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
That was
it's
all,
fine.
yes.
It's fine. Next time I will pause to make sure that everyone is finished.
I just couldn't remember if it was before that bit or after. But then when it said he was
It's fine.
beating the
It's
sun-
hey,
Yeah, it's all right. You carry on. You carry on.
thanks, Brett. Parker meets Frank's son Billy and his mother Lynn. Frank's. I'll start again. Parker meets Frank's son Billy and his mother Lynn. Frank's ex-wife, Lynn. Hold on, I'm misreading that again. Parker meets Frank's son Billy and his mother Lynn. Frank's ex-wife. Minutes later, Frank's evil boss, Claude McCready's henchman Slag, arrives with 2 corrupt police officers to kidnap Billy in a bid to use him as leverage over Frank. Nick stops them. The officers are killed. Billy is knocked unconscious, but Slag mortally wounds Billy's mum. Well, he shoots her with a shotgun, and then he escapes through a window. With the last words, Lynn tells Nick to take Billy to his father in Reno, Nevada, because, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Not call the police.
Yeah.
Get my son into protective custody.
Or could you maybe
Well, we couldn't trust
call
the
an
police now,
ambulance?
can we? We
No,
can't
this is
trust the
true.
police.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm
Good point.
bleeding out here. Can you call
Yeah.
an
Call an
ambulance,
ambulance.
maybe?
Do anything to save me.
Yeah. I don't know whether I'm dying, but,
And I think we also need to... Cause
No,
we
what
need
are you
to-
going to say?
No, probably not. I don't know. So the mob people in this are trying to get Frank to make perfectly legal drugs.
yeah.
Why don't they just get someone else to make their perfectly legal drugs?
I don't think they are. Though,
What was
are
the
they?
drug he was making?
It's just it's fake. It's what were
Synthetic.
what were in the 90s called legal highs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically like a
Because I could never work out what it was, and they were making it blue, and I was like...
I think that's just for
I was
visual
like-
effect.
I was like, Breaking Bad over this
Exactly,
film a lot.
Yeah, no,
It even looked like him. I'm like, Breaking Bad have just ripped off Blind Fury.
because they're up on the roof. They've got Frank dangling from the from the rooftop, and I don't remember the exact words now, but it was like, we can get him to make this, and the best thing is, it's perfectly legal.
Yeah,
So why are you?
I know.
Why are you getting this guy that doesn't want to do it to make it for you when you could probably pay another chemist, a little bit?
Yeah,
But he was like the best chemist.
The best
I think they
chemist in Reno.
I think they even said he's like the best chemist. We need him. Like, that's his reason.
Yeah, the plot was a bit sketchy with that little bit. I mean, just come out and say it is a synthetic narcotic which are going to make a hell of a lot more money for.
Yeah,
And we're going to break the law because they don't really have any problems breaking the law for the rest of the film.
exactly.
And just as a little reference for what's coming up, really. Where did he get his crew from? It was like...
Oh no, let's save the hillbilly mob for a bit later.
It talk about like the most multicultural. It was like the Benetton gang. But we'll come back to that. Going back to this though, did the policeman need to lose his hand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I love that bit. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't remember it being so brutal like that. Well, cheesy brutal, but it was just like then the hand just went flying off, still holding the gun, and then I think it fired when it landed, and
Yep. And it
was
shows how sharp that sword is.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah, I know.
And that you can use it.
Could literally split hairs with that gun. Knife, sword, knife. So I just looked up and I got distracted by the weather on the telly. For a second, I thought that's snow. That's snow, but it's not.
It's just arrows.
Yeah.
But a licky boom boom down. But yeah, so that was cool, and that was a nice little bit of let's have a fight and trash as much of this house as we can. Because half of that didn't need to happen.
No.
They would just step over something and then just kick it over, and
Yeah.
he wasn't even following him.
And I'm pretty certain that the window that Slag jumps through is right next to the door. They just open the door. Not that he sustains any
Which I
injuries
think
doing
was
this.
open anyway.
Yeah.
So you
So
got
he
It's that
needed to
classic thing in
evade.
those films when they always jump through a window and there's like splinters of wood everywhere and glass, but it just gets up.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm
dusts
fine.
himself off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one cop lost a hand.
Good job it wasn't double glazing.
It'd
And I
have been
guess-
embarrassing,
I
wouldn't
guess
it?
died from that because he seemed to just disappear from the entire frame. After
Yeah.
that, he got his hand chopped off and just wasn't even in the house anymore. And then the black police officer kind of then sort of came back at the end, creeping up behind him, but he knew he was there.
Yeah.
Stabbed.
And then Slag, I think he got scarred, didn't he? Did he cut him on the face?
Hand.
Well, that was it.
was
On the
his
hand,
hand.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did have
Yeah,
a scar
again,
later on. That was what made me laugh.
This is like, so 3 blokes have come in, burst into the house, they've killed someone.
3 men enter, 1 man leave.
Yeah. Why don't you just kill him as well? You've had ample opportunity there to kill
They
him.
could have shot him at any point.
No, I mean Nick could have easily offed Slag there and then. But he lets the main.
Well, no, that was the whole point because they were fighting and Slag just manages to jump through the window
just
that was
manages-
close to him.
No, he doesn't.
I've got,
Nick's holding back for some reason. Well, because if he didn't.
Well, maybe
then-
it's like an honour thing. And he's only, he's retreated now, so he doesn't need to.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't need to chase because he's not there to kill him. He's there to defend. And if
he's also blind as well, so he might have he might have been finding his bearings again.
he could have sniffed him.
He
out
knows
with
where he is
some
at any
overact-
given second of time.
He could have sniffed him out with some overacting.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the last words were just terrible. From Lynn. Take my son.
Yeah. Get him to Frank.
Get me some shots. It was, yeah. Meg Foster has been in nearly every sort of, for most sort of cult films over the years, and yeah, her work's declined. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
She was Evil Lynn, wasn't she as well?
Yeah.
The
She was
He-Man
evil
film,
in. She was in
They Live.
They Live. Various others that now do not come to
I
mind.
can't think. Yeah, I'm sure there's another Carpenter one. And Carnival.
Could be, I don't know.
But yeah, she's done loads of stuff, and but this wasn't one of her finest moments, and maybe why she wasn't in it much.
Yeah.
But
Maybe she had a tax bill that needed to be paid.
and at this point, I wasn't that keen on Billy either.
Billy's a little arsehole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point.
Yeah, but you don't really get a redemption thing for Billy.
No,
Yeah.
but let's carry on. Let's just carry
yeah,
on.
okay.
But
I'm
yeah,
just saying, but
I'm
you know,
just saying, but
he's
I'm-
there giving, he
Yeah,
gives him
'cause
the
he's an
finger
arsehole.
when he first sees that
No,
he's
but
blind.
but I'm like, you're saving this kid. Yeah, just leave him.
Yeah.
I was like,
Let the fucker burn.
I'll take him. And no one looked around the house for anything of value, did they? You know, I mean, they're dead now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or anything of use, let alone just value.
but anyway, then. So we're at the rest stop. We're on the way to Reno. And Parker tells Billy about his mother's death in a panned out bit from far away so we can just see the emotions running from Billy and stopping Rutger Hauer from actually having to act a bit. Billy runs away from Nick and he's grabbed by Slag and some henchmen. Slag escapes as Nick rescues Billy a second time, and Billy and Nick, who now is suddenly Uncle Nick, become fond of one another. And yeah, that was not rushed at all. They reach Reno and find Frank's girlfriend Annie, who agrees to take them to Frank. After escaping yet another kidnapping attempt by Macready's men, Annie suggests they hide out at the home of her friend Colleen.
Poor Colleen.
Poor Colleen.
So this is quite a big chunk of the film that we've
Yeah.
just summarised here. So first of all,
But
as
to be
I said-
fair, there's more writing there than there was in the script.
yeah. So you've got that whole horrendous scene in the at the bus station where the little shit's going, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere with you, and then a cop turns up and
Yeah.
like, is everything all right here? Suddenly the kid decides he's going to go. I don't think there's a cop in the land that wouldn't be a little bit suspicious about what's going on here.
I don't know. I watched Dharma.
Oh yeah, I suppose it was the 80s.
Yeah, is that your kid? Yes, it is. Okay. He said it was his kid.
I think the policeman saw he was blind and didn't want to make a big deal about
I
Yeah.
it.
didn't want to. Yeah.
Underestimating him again.
So yeah, then they get to the truck stop, and I said it earlier. Nothing ever good happens in a cornfield.
No.
Why is he running into a cornfield?
And where did the cornfield come from? Because I don't remember seeing it in the shot that established where they were. And then suddenly they were running for a cornfield. And it was
I
like,
just love the fact that, you know, you see them running off and you see the henchmen in the distance. Next thing we know, they're already in the cornfield.
Yeah, they've been waiting. They know this is going to happen.
they were like, do you know what? Let's just stand in this cornfield. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, and nothing good. That's the place we want to be.
And, yeah,
So this is where we are introduced to the hillbilly mafia,
Yeah.
as I like to call them. One of which is in a cornfield eating popcorn.
Yeah, obviously.
You don't get more hillbilly than that.
Well, he could have just started eating the corn on the
That's
cob, I
true.
guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
these were my favourite characters in the whole film. They had the best lines in the whole film. Yeah, the Pike brothers, Lyle and Tetra Pike. Lyle played by Nick Cassavetes and Rick Overton as Tetra. They were brilliant. They were just so redneck and so. We hadn't even got to the. Well, yeah. Is it? Are we covering the chase? The bit where they
Yeah.
But just a bit like when they kidnap him in the van, and then they lose the van, and they get out of the van, and they nick the old lady's car, and she shoots at him, and he went, "That's why I vote for gun
control.
Gun control."
Yeah.
That cracked me up. 'Cause I wasn't expecting that at all. And there was, I'm trying to remember now, but they had some all the way through. They had some just cool, like,
See, they're the intentional comedy that works.
yeah,
There's a lot of unintentional comedy in this film
yeah.
that works, but isn't supposed to be.
But I
funny.
want to see what did I say they were called again? I want to see a Pike Brothers spin-off or TV series. They were amazing. That
We
was
might miss that window of opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a few years, but they were brilliant. There's some bits later on as well, which I'll get to when we get to them. But yeah, the whole thing of it, and then just they were the best thing in this film.
Fair enough.
In my opinion.
I can't disagree with that because you're probably right. This is where we've got the blind driving scene. So again, comedy that doesn't work. He's blind.
But it was the cooperation between the two.
No. He's blind. She just needs glasses.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she loses her glasses. Oh, and then we get that funny line where he steps on them and says, "I think I found them."
Yeah.
But suddenly she's no longer able to drive because she hasn't got her glasses. So she's either long sighted or short sighted. Either way, she's not blind. So it could still potentially drive this van. But no.
Plus, as a kid,
We've got to get Rutger Hauer behind the wheel of this, just so that we can get the nice punchline of when he sideswipes that car and the other driver turns around and says, "What's the matter? Are you blind?" Yeah. What's your excuse?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of having that scene.
Yeah, and the other great thing is, as they're chasing him around Reno, hanging out of the car, firing weapons. There's like, there's no police here.
It's just a lawless town.
They come at the fucking truck stop.
That is Reno.
Yeah, and in back arse of nowhere, but not in like Reno with all the casinos and stuff.
Yeah.
And then an opportunity they missed at the time, they should have had shit fuck on t-shirts. Because it was just,
Yeah.
I just like to think they just ad-libbed all that themselves and were just pissing around and like, no one else knows what is going on. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
But so then, they done that. Oh, then he cuts his hand on. He touches the blade, doesn't he? Although,
that's right.
if you look, he
It
touches,
touches
the
the
wrong
other side. Yeah.
Sword's that sharp, Brett.
Yeah, and then obviously we get the skill of the blind man because all right, start counting.
Oh
Then
yeah.
he can work out how far they've gone by the count, so he can go back and find.
Even
his
though he
sword.
doesn't start counting to a good half a mile after he's asked to start counting, and then they don't stop for another 60 yards after he says the word stop. But
Yeah, you could smell it from there. It was all right.
could
But,
smell the sweat from the blade.
But no, it was but I got really off put by, was it Annie, the woman?
Yep.
Because she was the horrible friend in Officer and a Gentleman. The one,
Never seen it.
the one where like she lies to the bloke and says she's pregnant.
It doesn't.
and
You
all
could
that.
say it.
Oh,
But
no,
I've never seen it. So
I'm just confirming it to people that
Okay.
might be listening to it. Not the main one that's with Richie Gere.
Not the
like
people that
Friends
aren't
one.
listening.
Yeah. And them. And she's been in a few other things as well, and she's done all right. But she's passed away since. But it was just she's normally a lot more serious, intense actress. She should have been the mum. Like just for that scene, you would have got a more dramatic, intense, darker scene there, rather than her being basically like the receptionist from Ghostbusters.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to do and all that, and it was just sort of like. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the casting there. Maybe they were friends or something. But it was cool. That was one of the more exciting bits, but mainly because of the redneck brothers.
So back at Annie's friend's house, I've forgotten her name. Colleen. Nick gets a cab to McCready's casino where Frank is making McCready's drugs. Nick wins big on the roulette before exposing how the house has rigged the machines in order to create a distraction. Nick and Frank are reunited. Frank takes the key ingredient of McCready's drugs and destroys the lab.
Yeah, so we realised that he's great at gambling because he can't see. Because how else can he win that much? You say, I've got a plan. I'm going to win big at roulette. Then they're going to get another dealer out. I'm going to create a diversion by...
Well, he had to get the guards away from the door.
Yeah, no. But if it's that simple to win at roulette...
Well, no, he can hear when the ball was.
No, I know, but that's what I mean.
But our senses aren't
Yeah, but
trained
don't
like
you
that.
place the bet before the start
Exactly.
rolling the ball?
Yeah, but he can hear it from how it is, so he can tell.
Yeah, but he hasn't,
No, but you don't-
he hasn't left the ball hasn't left the
Yeah,
dealer's
I know,
hand.
no, but he's obviously
Appreciate
stood and
what it
heard a
is.
few of them, so he's got the gist of the...
But he doesn't
that's-
know when the ball...
I'm not saying it's real, and that's what he's doing in the film.
I mean, this plan could have gone so wrong.
Yeah.
Quite quickly.
So many variables.
He could have
it
lost... Oh, hold on. Where did he get the money from in the first place to start gambling? Because he was broke.
Well, I mean, he can buy bus tickets at the drop of a hat.
Maybe did
He
steal
did.
it from
We
the
saw,
house.
remember, because the boy took his wallet, so we knew he had a wallet. That was established earlier.
Yeah, all he had in there was a photo. The kid didn't take out all the cash. Anyway,
No, but we knew he had
so
a
he
wallet.
manages
That
to
was
win big at the roulette wheel.
massively big.
Just like that, because anyone can at
and he's
Reno.
not bothered.
Yeah.
He's not bothered about the money either.
And we know things are going to take a turn when the new dealer or croupier, whatever they're
Yeah,
called,
'cause
turns
what
up.
he
Because
wants is-
everyone stops talking The girls that
And
stood by
everyone
him
moves
walk
away.
away.
Move away.
But yeah, because he's trying to get them all, the big guard, Tiger Chung Lee, and I forgot the other guy who's an American football player. He has to get them away from the lift. But luckily, he heard the code being put in, so he knows the noise. But he needs to get away, so he decides, rather than anything else, he'll just win loads of money to draw them away.
Yeah.
When he could have just hit a fire alarm or something.
Yeah.
But it works, and somehow the casino that only had 30 people in it.
Right, the nice bit about this as well is when the all mayhem starts breaking out, we get the Frog Brothers turning up with a great glee, look of glee in their eyes because it's fight time.
They just come in and start punching people for no reason.
It's like one of those comedy
bit of the
Wild
film.
West films. Time for a fight at the bar.
It's a
Reminded me
bar brawl.
of Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right.
And then obviously we get the big reunion between Nick and Frank.
Actually, before we get to that though, we've
Oh.
got he
Oh yeah.
gets in the lift, then gets the others in the lift, disables the lift, goes past the two henchmen.
Yeah, because they were in two lifts, weren't they?
Oh yeah. But so he's got past two henchmen simply by wearing a jacket.
Yep.
Because the shot turns to face Rutger Hauer, and he's still got all his manky looking street clothes on, but just the jacket over the top. I mean, I know henchmen in these films are portrayed as pretty stupid, but it's like there's no dicky bow, there's no shirt, it's just the jacket.
And he's blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's so bloody hard for anyone to catch him because he employed the wrong henchman. Yep. So he meets up with Frank again, and we have the whole. Well, I know you. I felt so bad for running off when we were getting shot at and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, well, that's probably one of the only reasons I came back was to say it's okay or something like that. It's like,
Something like that. Yeah.
really? What is it? Is it though? It's like, yeah, because I found another life, and I might be blind, but hey, I can kick ass now. I might be penniless and look like a pauper, but I've just won big at the roulette, so everything's okay again.
I've just won big at roulette. Would you like a Guinness?
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the bit when I realised when they were talking to each other, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, or just me reading into it, but Nick Fury, the Marvel character, is blind in one eye, and Frank Castle, the Punisher, was a Vietnam veteran as well. I don't know if might be a coincidence, but it just seemed a bit have those two characters together. I don't know.
Could be.
Because the guy like Marvel, I looked him up because the director's actually gone on and done some really big stuff after this. And I don't know. It was just one of those when they were just like Nick, Frank, whatever, and it was just like, wait a minute. But yeah, and this is where it goes full Breaking Bad. This is the bit where
We see the drug slap.
Vince Gillen, or whatever his name is, saw this and thought, I'm going to keep this in my mind. In a few years' time, I might be able to get a series out of this somehow. But where could I find a chemist who's not in the army? Or maybe a teacher?
Yeah.
And we'll make it blue, just like they did in Blind Fury. Yeah, it was very much... Yeah, if you showed that scene to someone out of context, they go, that's from Breaking Bad, isn't it? And then they blow the lab up at the end and all that.
Well, they probably wouldn't, not with the 80s music in the background.
Yeah, good point. Well, I don't know. Breaking Bad had some big bits where they just put music over the top and pretended it was moody.
Yeah, that's true. Right, moving on. Avoiding casino security, Nick and Frank escape and head to Colleen's to reunite Billy with his dad. They find Colleen dead. Billy,
bullet in the head.
Billy and Anne kidnapped, and a note instructing them to bring the drugs to McCready's mountain penthouse in exchange for Billy and Annie. No, they get a phone call, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you see them talking, and then they're like, oh.
Yeah, then the phone rings. Yeah. So the note over the phone that's been read out, telling him to come to the mountain penthouse. So knowing it's an ambush, Nick and Frank arm themselves with homemade napalm bombs, and we do find out that he's a great chemist, and while he was at Vietnam, used to make random bombs and almost blow people up. So, it's in his nature.
Yeah.
After killing all of McCready's men, they find McCready holding Billy and Annie at gunpoint. Yeah. So, I mean, they don't quite go MacGyver, but they are creating their own Molotov cocktails.
Bit 18, wasn't it? But I did read somewhere, I'm just trying to find it, but I can't read it now. But that bit gets cut out because he gives the recipe away and people went mad. Recipe.
The recipe is
in speech marks.
I think it's just
He says it.
gasoline and detergent, I think.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I mean. That did get edited out of a lot of
they don't
releases.
say, okay, so it's 75 mils per.
two parts petroleum.
I mean, to be fair, even if it was, even if it's just petrol, well, it depends on the fuel, I guess. If it was diesel,
Yeah, you wouldn't get very far with diesel.
that would be brilliant. Could have taken a whole complete different. I just smell a bit.
Then not the smell of Rutger Hauer with his intense smelling skills. He'll be off his face.
Yeah.
But there was a whole kerfuffle about it, wasn't there? That they said what it was or
Yeah,
something, and it got cut out. I remember reading something about that. But this is poor Colleen. She's not even. Just look, she's not been in anything since either. So it literally killed her career.
She didn't really have much.
She might have
of
just
a
been a
run,
member of the
she?
crew, to be fair.
She's not even listed as that. She's not even, that was it. It's just, and I think she got about 2 lines. We get to see the redneck brothers kicking some ass, which I liked. The bodyguards, for being such big burly dudes, didn't do a lot at all. And they got out just going down the fire escape and out the door already, didn't they?
Well, they end up in that room, don't they, with the lights and the, again, there's another nice, there's this little bit where Rutger Hauer's crawling across the floor and he's crawling across a microphone and that starts screwing with his head a bit because he can hear himself breathing over the PA system.
And a drum kit.
And a drum kit. But, the place is deserted. It's obviously out of season. Why the hell is the microphone plugged in and working? It wouldn't be.
Yeah, maybe there was like a little band practice or something just before.
They've just left. They got the other ski lift down.
Yeah. But it was like, they done that big dip where they got the others, and then once they got them now, it was like, let's just go out this door now. And it was almost easier to get out than all the hassle it was getting in. And they had a big fight. It was just like, there was some nice moments there, and they got to play with like strobe lights and things.
Yeah.
To make it look moody and stuff. And then the what do you call it? The cart thing going up. What do you call it?
Ski lift.
Ski lift.
Well, cable car.
That's what I was thinking of. The cable car going up. And then my favourite bit, I forgot what it says again now. I showed you it just
High
now.
camp.
Yeah, just as you get this lovely shot of them going on, friends reunited from Vietnam to go into battle together to get his son back in Destiny. And then Rutger Hauer's got his hand on Terry O'Quinn's shoulder and they're looking forward. And then the camera switches to their point of view. And there's just this big sign saying, what did it say again for?
High camp.
High camp, it was. And then the battle kicks off. So the cable car arrives, but every villain that we've seen in the entire movie is stood there with some kind of machine gun opening fire. And it was an ambush, but it was just like, how many people can you get on that platform? Because that was like a naked gun scene. The camera just kept panning and everyone was firing, but it was only about a foot wide.
Yeah, I mean, Neo would have struggled to take these guys on.
Yeah, it was just like, it's how many people stood in a line when it was that big. But so it was, but they avoided it. Yeah, so then they get through, we get the showdown, and it's McCready and Slag left. But just when you think it's a fair fight and it's 2-on-2, McCready's only gone and hired the one ethnic group that wasn't part of his gang already. He's got a Japanese assassin.
Yeah, because he knew the rest couldn't do the job. That's why.
Just in case.
So he said, "Go and get Bruce Lee."
20 people we had already. Yeah, he did. He actually said that, didn't he?
Get Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's dead.
Also.
Then get his brother.
But he hires a Japanese assassin who we talked about earlier in the casting, the guy that did all the ninja films himself, and he's there to kill Nick, and he's only got a sword as well. So shit's getting real now. this guy knows about swords. Nick knows about swords. So an epic sword fight ensues between the two. Nick wins, though, by using his brains and electrocutes the assassin in the hot tub. Yep. You read that right. And, yeah, there's also like a swing stair thing above the hot tub that he cuts the rope to. It's quite elaborate, and you really need to see it to appreciate the set piece that it is of a battle, because there's a few little props around and stuff like that. So
Stuff that just wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If it was just a normal hot tub.
Yeah, who knows? But when you're a megalomaniac villain, maybe that's what you want. You just put hot tubs in random places. But yeah, Nick wins by electrocuting. Doesn't defeat him in the sword fight. He outthinks him and electrocutes him in the hot tub. But then, just as Nick's sort of about to go, yeah, I'm the best swordsman, Slag goes and shoots him in the shoulder, and Nick throws his sword at Slag, impaling him. Well, actually, Nick's sword goes in the water.
Yes.
And
So
Nick's
it's
like, oh
it's
shit,
the
it's
other
all
guy's
over. So
sword.
he does the other sword, which he would have been unfamiliar with, the weight and that, but he still manages to do it because he's that good. And it goes and impales Slag against the wall. McCready then tries to interfere, only to be stopped by Frank. Billy escapes his rope somehow and throws Nick's sword to him. Oh no, but that's when it lands in the hot tub. Sorry, my bad. And then Slag reaches for his gun, but Nick gets the assassin sword and does some cool slashing movements that we saw him practicing at the beginning with the little Japanese man who was teaching him stuff in the
Melons.
jungle, or Vietnamese, whatever it was, yeah. And then Slag falls through the window, which he likes doing, so he wasn't too upset by that. And then as he falls to his death, he floats into two pieces. And I'm sure I've seen that somewhere else with a different person, exactly the same, but like a different backdrop, but like someone else going into two, and I can't think who it is.
It kind of reminded me of a mashup between Highlander and the end of RoboCop.
I might be thinking of Highlander, but it was almost the same bit, but it's just like a different face on the body as it went down, like. And so Slag is finally on the slag heap.
Nice. Well done.
Yay. And McCready is kind of, we don't really see what happens to McCready. Just sort of,
No, well, he's lost his drug deal because his
Yeah,
drug
drug
deal,
deal's
the
gone,
dealers
yeah.
that he was going to cut the deal with have already left.
yeah, and it's implied. Are they killed? Does Slag kill them? Because he kind of gives him a nod, and he like goes into the lift with a gun, and then it just cuts to the
Yeah.
next bit, doesn't it? So dude with the mullet and the.
Yeah, there's a lot of mullets in
But
this.
yeah,
to be
yeah,
fair.
that's true. And but yeah, there's some good fight scenes. They are the bread and butter of this movie, and they got the right guy in to do it at the end with Mr. Nick, and yeah, it's good. And yeah, Slag gets his comeuppance, and the smugness of McCready is put to an end, and somehow Billy manages to escape getting hurt. Because again, he was a little bit annoying at this point. What are your thoughts on the violent fight scene, Paul? What did you think?
Well, I think you've talked about it. Every scene going. It was just it was a hodgepodge of any action sequence that they had the budget or lack of budget for, wasn't it? And you're right, none of it seemed to make any sense what any of that was doing there for most of that. But hey, I don't think they intended to make an Oscar with this film, or win an Oscar with this film, rather. They just wanted to get some action like we might have seen in Commando a few years before, some of the ninja stuff in there, and they did that.
Cool. Okay, so the ending, Frank is reunited with Billy and Annie, and they leave for San Francisco. Nick decides to drop his ticket, choosing not to go. Billy follows Nick, telling him that he needs him. Nick says that while he's fond of Billy, he should go back to his father. Nick crosses the street and vanishes as the bus passes him by. Saddened by Nick's departure, Billy throws a toy dinosaur off the bridge where Nick catches it, which is a nice little callback to the start of the film.
Yeah.
Billy calls out to Nick one last time and tells him that he'll miss him. As Frank catches up to Billy, they embrace. Nick smiles and sheds a tear, puts on his sunglasses while holding Billy's toy dinosaur with his left arm in a sling, and walks off into the distance. Sheds a tear.
Yeah.
And if we remember,
Can't cry.
he can't cry.
He can cry.
He can cry.
It's almost like he couldn't sweat, isn't it? There's no way that bus would have stopped for him.
No.
No.
That bus driver wouldn't give a toss.
No,
I've got to
you
be
can see
there
that,
in 15
he's
hours.
there, like, pointing from the window.
He's
There
got-
he is, there's my kid.
He's gone down the road, round the corner, and up another road.
And why did he just drop the ticket and not like go and get a refund or something?
Yes.
Symbol.
Although he doesn't need the money
No,
after his win
clearly.
at Reno.
Yeah, he'll just go to
Yeah.
a casino and win again using his blind skills. But yeah, it was a weird ending. But kind of, I see what they're doing. It was almost like this is the bit where it was almost like the TV pilot ending, where next week he'd wander into another town as a blind man and help
The
some other
littlest blind ninja
widowed
hobo.
family out. Yeah, that was almost
That's
a
something
bit,
I'd watch.
it was that sort of Kane from Kung Fu, like I say, littlest hobo. Because apparently there was going to be a sequel, wasn't there? But
Yeah.
it bombed, so it didn't.
Okay, then. So, did we enjoy it this time round?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
loved every minute of it. We've been stood here for the last, hour or so, I guess, slagging every bit of it off.
It's all in a good way.
But
Yeah, but that's why we love it.
I absolutely loved it.
Yep.
It was as good as, was it as good as I remember? Probably not.
No.
But I still thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Was it cheesy?
Yes.
Was it overacted and underacted both at the same time? Yes.
Yes.
Were the effects great? No.
No. But,
Was it good?
yes.
It was better than good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. However, I want this to be remade, and I've got the issue I had with it is quite early on. For some reason, in my head, I got almost like a flashback, flash forward to Alan Tudyk in Resident Alien and his relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
So I want them to go off on a road trip where they come up to some new town every week and take on a bad guy, and he's the blind ninja. I think those two, I'd watch that.
No, if I've done it again, it's got to be Sam Elliott.
No.
Oh,
It has to
no,
be-
he's too old.
Yeah, but it's got to be someone who's old enough to be in Vietnam
And he's too
nowadays.
cool.
You can find any reason for someone to be blinded and then
And he's-
taught by
and he's
Vietnamese
too cool.
people how to
You-
I
sword
don't
fight.
think they're going to get taught in the Middle East. You know, is it?
No, but just change the
It's
backstory a
got
little
magic
bit.
carpets of a sword.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No, because it went with the
Wow.
it went with the culture.
They're going to bring out their magic lamps. Jesus, Brett. Get with this new millennium, okay?
No, but it has to be something that goes with the culture. Vietnam has got that.
Oh dear.
Okay, if you deem that bit risky, cut it out. No, but Vietnam's the cool war, isn't it? That's the one where all the cool stuff happened. All the other ones, like, no one's made films about the other wars.
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, but no one's been kidnapped, took away, and learned a mystic art.
No,
Yeah,
because
anyway.
they made this. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Move on before you offend someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know, I would like to see this remade, but they should have made more, or if they remade it, they should make more of the fact that Billy's a little dick, but then make more of the warming, the relationship between the two, so that
I mean,
that ending is more poignant. Because even towards the end of the film, I'm still thinking Billy's a dick.
Yeah. It's
So-
just annoying, though.
Yeah,
I mean, the other thing at the end.
He was Scott Tracker annoying.
yeah.
The other thing at the end,
T-Bob.
I'm not sure whether it was like he's going to miss him or like, let's face it, over the last couple of days, he's almost been killed by God knows how many hillbillies. And the only person looking out for him is this blind stranger. He's probably too scared to leave his side
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Don't leave me with Dad. He's
Yeah.
useless.
Yeah, Dad's a pussy.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
makes my dad makes drugs. He kick ass.
Yeah. Sure, he can get me high, but. Yeah. So,
But anyway, I want a series with the Pike brothers. I don't know if we can get like Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson back. But I'd watch that rather than them in True Detective again.
Fair enough.
Even that, like, God damn, there's more holes in that thing than my daddy's rubber. I didn't know Dad wore rubber. Just those little lines, and they're almost thrown away in there. There was some more that I can't remember now.
Yeah,
but-
that one's. I mean, that's lost in the distance of
Yeah.
shouting.
There was
gunfire and
Yeah.
sort of-
there was the old joke that could only be done in the 80s for that time, which was when he's fighting someone, Rutger Hauer touches his eyes and goes, "Oh, you're Chinese or Japanese."
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, really?
That was right at the end.
Yeah.
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 yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have things like
Feeling
that.
the age of this film now.
But there wasn't much in it that made me think, oh, yeah, that bit definitely, don't get me wrong. But there were, like sometimes you see these, you go, ooh.
Yeah.
But again, as a villain, McCready had quite a
Diverse.
unique, diverse set of people that should probably never have met at all in their lives. But they were, and they were
Yeah.
all working together.
Just not very well.
Not at all. But
I mean, that almost is a film or a sitcom in itself, isn't it? Just a bunch of useless henchmen.
yeah, maybe they should.
That's another one for our repertoire
Yeah,
of
there's
films.
there's like an agency
The
of
henchmen.
these guys, and they come back and go, right, we'll send you off to this one now, and we could explain how they ended up in the A-Team, TJ Hooker, the Fall Guy, and Knight Rider.
So we've got our maintenance crew, or whatever we called it from our idea,
crew.
The skeleton crew.
skeleton crew, and now we've got
the henchman agency.
and then people only go to them if they can't afford someone
Yeah.
proper.
Yeah, the cheapest henchman agency
and they
in the
have
world.
to go up against some really good henchmen on some hits sometimes, and they're always losing. It's like the Teen Titans, but for bad guys.
And will it just end with one of them just getting out of a car and dusting himself off at the end? Another day's work done. But yeah, no, I think a remake would do well. But I think it worked better as a series, moving town to town each
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I'd like to see something like that.
Done.
Okay, so back to this film. Ratings
7.5 out of 10.
7.5.
Yeah, I was almost transported back to the 80s as soon as it started.
Yeah, the TriStar.
Yeah.
Oh, the,
Logo
the
coming up.
Pegasus horse running past.
Yeah.
Oh, such memories.
and then I was just enveloped in a warmth from the 80s.
Yeah. Mr. B.
I really enjoyed watching it, probably for totally the wrong reasons, but then we all did. It wasn't as good as I remembered it being, but it was funnier than I remembered it being. I'll probably go a strong 6.
Okay,
Strong 6.
strong 6. I'm going for a strong 8. The effort. No, I'm not saying it come across on screen, but the effort he put
I
in
did try
to mastering the swordsmanship and portraying a blind person deserves, a 5 just before you even get started.
Yeah.
But then it is funny. There's some nice lines in it. The action's a little bit clunky, but it's still, like you said, Brett, not quite as good as I remember it being when I was about 10 or something when I first watched it. But
Because I remember it being like a vicious fighting film.
yeah,
It probably was in those days.
Yeah, but
I mean,
then-
it chops off
yeah.
hands and all this kind of
yeah,
stuff.
you don't actually see it. For a film that gets like hands, there's a hand chop off. There's people cut in half. There's disembowelment.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of blood in this film.
He cuts his thumb. I think that's most
Yeah, there's
blood.
more
Yeah.
blood when he cuts
Lick
it
my
right.
wound. Lick my wound.
Yeah.
Lick your,
Lick your own wound,
wounds,
you fucking
weirdo.
So yeah, I'm going for an 8.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think it just to shout out to the director, Phillip Noyce, as well, who made this and then went on to do stuff like Dead Calm, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, The Bone Collector, Salt, some real good action films. So, he learned his craft here
Yeah.
and, and done well with it.
Yep, it's in good company, this film.
Good luck, Phillip Noyce. You've done well.
Right, gentlemen, there you have it. That was the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 73.
Number 73.
Thank you. That's what I was waiting for. Don't forget, as always, rate and review us on your preferred podcast app. If you want to get all the latest news, reviews,
And what else is going down in the town?
head to the mothership, which is
Cultfaction.com.
check us out on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook,
Instagram.
Instagram. That's
All
the
of
other one.
them.
All of them. We're on them all.
Are we on Meta?
Meta own everything.
Exactly.
And if you want to contact us directly, you can email us at...
cultfactionpodcast@mail.com.
In the meantime, I have been, and always will be, Damien Hicks.
I've been Paul Hawkins.
And I'm pretty sure I've been Brett Summers.
That's Cult Faction.
Strong men are not afraid to cry.
Even if they've got no tear ducts.
Superman.
She loves you, yeah. Right, come on, Summers.
Schoolboy era.
Ouch! South America. And that Cult Faction.
That's Cult Faction.
That's Cult Faction. Yeah.
Doo-doo-doo. That's me doing the intro, isn't it? It's my...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah. You slack bastard.
I was waiting for one of you two to say you're ready to go.